On November the 11th, 2020, the Dallas-Fort Worth hip-hop community lost up-and-coming rising star Melvin Abdul Noble Jr. Many of you know him as also Mo3. And of course, I didn't hear of the brother until he died. And then posthumously, obviously, we go back and listen to his music and find out the brother was really talented. But the passing of Mo3 brought to life another person that we're talking about a lot today, Mr. Charleston White. Now, how does that play into each other? Well, Charleston White was one of the few people who came onto a live stream that was commenting on the death of Mo3 and talking about the Dallas, Fort Worth, Texas, like the murder rate down there and what's going on in the community. He's basically giving more context to what was happening in the black community on someone else's live stream. I didn't think nothing of the guy. I just thought he would basically just, be a guy commenting that day and he would leave. And I don't even have that live stream anymore, but he came into a lot of prominence shortly thereafter on YouTube. Reminds me of another guy, Rewind Dima. And that other guy similarly had a situation, which was Mr. Hassan Campbell. Now, Hassan Campbell alleged that African Bambaataa did some things against him at a younger age. Doggy Diamonds and Senator TV, I believe, set up a conference in like early 2015, 2016, something like that. And he told a story and he got some shine. But just like Charleston White, that opportunity came into him telling his story on YouTube. And Hassan Campbell is also known as being very controversial. He talks out against the hip hop community. He talks about black culture, very similar to Charleston White. But now here is what Hassan Campbell is alleging against Charleston White. Let's play that clip.
Shall we begin? Shall we begin? Let me ask you a question, right? I ain't trying to be petty or nothing, but it's like, damn, could I have something for myself? Some originality? Like, some of y'all catching on because y'all in my DM and y'all saying it, and some of y'all still not catching on. I went on academics a couple of days after Charleston White. He didn't make enough noise. I went viral all over the place talking about Jay Prince. This start talking about Jay Prince for a whole month, non-stop. My whole target was gangs and rappers when I came on YouTube. Gangs and rappers, because there was so much gang death and so much with the rappers. That was my whole target. Charleston White. But one of my biggest things that I've been dealing with, outside of what they call conspiracy, is World War III, and most definitely Russia and China, and China, and China, and China. All through my lives, all through my videos. And then it's like, okay, in my DM again, yo, Haas, listen to him. Shall we begin? Like, it's like, oh my God. Is anything sacred? Do anybody have any originality? Is everybody gonna mimic my style? Is this not my whole teaching point for years? Everything that I teach, he doesn't give a goddamn about these topics, and this is what's pissing me off. You're sitting up there adapting my whole style. Who sent you? CIA, FBI, DEA? Like, come on. Have some originality. And at this point in time, those of y'all that's been watching me for years, y'all still not getting it? Now they're talking about China and Russia and Putin and sitting something. Since when he been talking about that? Never. Like, ever. My whole teachings, everything that I teach, even down when I sat up there and I said how dudes be sitting up there putting their hands against the wall, putting their fingers in their mouth, lifting their nutsacks and turning around, like everything.
So that comes from Hassan Campbell's newest video Charleston White, enough is enough already. Now, of course, Hassan Campbell has also gotten into it with former colleague Doggy Diamonds. And that has a lot to do with the fact that Doggy Diamonds collaborated with WAC 100. And Hassan Campbell doesn't feel like he should be doing that. But I do want to play this particular clip of Hassan Campbell talking about a whole other situation that doesn't have to do with Doggy Diamonds, but he's talking about how people are hating on him because he blew up.
I fully understand that now, because you'll come into this internet thinking that people owe you something or they obligated to be loyal. You don't have no friends on this internet. And the minute that you start coming up on this internet and you start doing better than the that put you on, oh, that's right, nobody put me on. My story was a one-hitter quitter. Dudes did my story, they put my story out there, got their views off of it. I still had more to talk about. There was things that was going on in my life, so I created my own YouTube page. And then after a while, I realized that nobody cared about my fight. And the more popular that I got on this platform, the more people used my story to attack me.
So then that I want to play that's very important. Hassan Campbell said, hey, nobody put him on. He put himself on. When you listen to Hassan Campbell, is he the first person to talk about what he's been talking about online? I probably don't think so. The same way that people allege that Kevin Samuel stole from Tommy Sotomayor or stole from this person or whatever. Nothing is so much new under the sun. And the thing I would ask Hassan Campbell is, okay, if Charleston White stole your style or stole your information, are you more important, or like, is it because Charleston White do you feel like he's more popular than you, or do you feel like he stole your style? Because when I look at Charleston White and how he talks and how he acts and his personality, it is a lot different than you. Now, if it's that he's stealing the same information or is going after the hip hop community or he's talking about China, those could be similarities. But here's what happens when you're a content creator and you have a formula for being successful. People are going to copy that formula of being successful. That doesn't make it wrong. People are going to do what it takes to be successful, right? So if he's done that and not giving you credit, I can understand how you feel. But don't you want your message to go out there? Let me just say this, like in the manosphere community, Kevin Samuel's message of the black manosphere, how black men felt. He wasn't talking about that stuff before he met us, guys like Obsidian, myself, things like that, right? Now, he wasn't talking about that, at least in his content. But what Kevin Samuels did, he took the conversation to a larger audience, and he built on the things that the black men were talking about and have been talking about for years before the internet and before us. Obviously, we weren't the first to talk about it, but we were the first to talk about it here online. And the things that Hassan Campbell or Charleston White talk about are not necessarily, really new ideas, but they're very charismatic. Like Charleston White is like a super talented, funny person. So is Hassan Campbell in a different way. So my question is this: if you feel like Charleston White took your information and put it out there, are you glad that it's out there reaching the people to an audience that maybe you couldn't get? Or do you want him to say, okay, I gave you your props and all this other stuff? And then it looks, kind of, I'm not going to say suspect because, again, Doggy Diamonds and Hassan Campbell is beefing, and Hassan Campbell does find himself in beefs here and there, not as much as Charleston White. But it's interesting. If I felt like Hassan Campbell feels like Charleston White wouldn't be who he is without being, taking his talking points, which I don't necessarily believe. But what I will say is it's possible that some of that information could have been borrowed from Hassan Campbell, because Hassan Campbell is very popular. He's a great YouTuber. I'll tell anybody that. Hassan Campbell is the kind of person, he doesn't need, like a lot of graphics or a lot of stuff. Hassan Campbell is one of the few people that can just turn on the camera and talk and get hella views and don't need no editing, just like Charleston White. But those guys are super talented when it comes to this. But what I also feel is that, people are going to take ideas and build upon them. And I think that Charleston White has he has the hot hand right now. And I think that, it looks like when Hassan Campbell even talks about that, people are going to look at him as being a hater, right? Just the same way that folks were saying it about Tommy Sotomayor and Kevin Samuels. Kevin Samuels had the hot hand, and then Tommy was like, well, you stole X, Y, and Z from me. Then it looked like, okay, bro, you're only saying it because he's hot. So that's how people are going to take it. Hassan Campbell may or may not have a point. But people are going to look at it like, hey, bruh, you're just saying that because you're hating. And if he did take your information or take some of the, some of the topics or genres you're talking about, aren't you glad that it's getting out there? Or are you more concerned about what the credit, or you just don't care? So that's the question that Brother Hassan Campbell would be able to answer. What do you guys think? Do you feel, if you watch Charleston White and Hassan Campbell, that Charleston White has taken Hassan Campbell's style? Let me know, and then we'll talk about it in the comment section. Subscribe, hit the bell. We're out.